Thank you, Chair. I find this amendment, absolutely frustrating and infuriating. As a hunter, I sometimes wait 8 to 10 years for the privilege of being able to pursue a hunt in my home province, and I would be outraged if through no fault of my own, the Government of Canada did not renew my possession acquisition license on time, and I drove 200 or 300 miles to a hunt that I pay $5, $10, $15, or $20,000 for, to find out that my magazine is faulty, and I cannot go to the store and purchase a replacement one because of a clause like this. This is the governing body that determines when an applicant gets their license renewed is the one that bears the responsibility. The reason the extension of 6 months was added on was because governments typically can't meet the obligation of getting a firearms license renewal processed in a timely fashion, even according to what the Firearms Centre says it has on its website. I deal with this in my office constantly. The number of people in this country that follow the guidelines on the website, do a renewal, and do not get their licenses returned in time are now going to be, this is punitive, absolutely punitive to somebody who acts in good faith, not only in the acquisition of their license, but in the acquisition of their hunting permits, the application for, or the purchase that they have of a hunt. And so I'm asking the officials, if this clause becomes law, what we're in essence saying is unless you have to wait, doesn't matter, the hunt will not wait for you. The season in the province or territory that you're hunting in will not wait for you. You might even have only a week of a season. As a matter of fact, in January of this year, I had a 3-day elk hunt that I waited 10 years for. 10 years I waited for that opportunity. And if I would have lost the magazine for my Savage rifle, if this clause was law and I was by myself, I would not be allowed to go to the store because my pal was in the 6-month grace period. I would not be able to go to the store and get a replacement cartridge or magazine. Is that correct?
In the circumstances that you describe, yes, you wouldn't be able to purchase a magazine.
So
I'd just like to point out that you wouldn't be able to use the firearm either.
Well,
that's already in the firearm.
Yeah, I understand the notion, and I understand that she's making it consistent. But what I want to do is I want to make it clear to every hunter who is being told right now by members of other political parties that these laws are not going after you as a hunter. Make it explicitly clear to you as a hunter that you will potentially be denied your hunt because you cannot use your gun, you cannot buy replacement ammunition, and you cannot buy a replacement cartridge or any part thereof of a firearm, even though through no fault of the hunter.
Chair.
Mr. Nur Mohammed on a point of order.
Yeah, I wasn't Mr. Calkin said it will and it would or it will, and then he said potentially. I just want if you could in his statement if you could just clarify what he is. Does he mean it will or potentially will? Because there's a difference there.
Thank you. I think that's debate, but if Mr. Calkins wants to clarify,
I just want to put on the record, and I am being crystal clear. If I'm not allowed because I've applied for my renewal of my PAL, it doesn't get processed in a timely fashion, I will be denied a hunting season, even if I have paid upwards of thousands of dollars for a hunt that I cannot get refunded. And I think it's incumbent upon the MPs that are here at this table to understand the consequences of not only this decision, but the decisions that have already been made earlier on by denying somebody who, through no fault of their own, is now going to be denied perhaps a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. In some parts of this country, people wait their entire life to get an opportunity for one specific hunt. As a matter of fact, in BC, your opportunity to get a Roosevelt elk draw you may never get one in your entire lifetime. And if you were to get one, this particular clause is punitive, absolutely punitive to the hunting community. And I'll cede my time, Mr. Chair.
We go now to Mr. Moff.
Thank you, Chair. If the officials could just clarify, this is just adding we made an amendment last night to add the requirement to have a license for a magazine. This is just updating a coordinating amendment to ensure that it's in compliance with the decision we made last night. Is that correct?
Yes.
So I just want to remind the Conservative members, and in particular Mr. Calkins, that the vote on in requiring a license for a magazine was passed unanimously last night, including by Conservative members. And I would like Mr. Calkins to go and look Reese Fallon's family in the face and tell her that the elk hunt is more important than her life. Because the shooter on the Danforth did not require a license to go and buy a magazine before he went and tried to slaughter people on the Danforth. So I'm sorry that Mr. Calkin doesn't like this amendment, but you know what? Conservatives voted.
Hold her waiting for a renewal of their
No
license.
crosstalk, please.
I have the floor,
compare apples
Mr.
to
Calkins.
apples.
I have the floor. You're complaining about not being able to do something and waiting for 10 years. Reese Fallon will never see. She'll never be able to get married. She'll never be able to have children. And you're complaining about not killing an elk? I'm sorry, Mr. Calkins. I find that so offensive. I was very proud of members last night on this committee that we unanimously passed the amendment that Ms. Michaud brought forward to require a license for magazines. All this is doing is changing something that's already in the law to add magazines to it. And I would hope that members would support that.